A girl named Rachel tells a boy named Bam to forget about her, as she is climbing the tower to see the stars, disappearing into the gates. Bam suddenly finds himself within the first floor of the tower, with its caretaker Hedon. Hedon explains that all who wish to climb the tower must pass through a series of tests from each floor, with the first being to reach and break a ball behind a giant white steel-covered eel, before he can enter the cage. However, a girl named Yuri and her companion Evan interrupts him, gifting him a pocket holding information about the tower that can switch between visible and invisible, as well as allowing participants to understand the tower's language. Yuri also lends Bam a powerful sword known as Black March that can be dull or extremely sharp depending on the user, expressing curiosity in him despite knowing that her actions might incur the wrath of the higher-ups. Bam, deciphering the true nature of the test to be testing whether participants dare to embrace death, lets himself be eaten to cut it up from the inside. However, as Black March is unable to be wielded for him, Evan suggests he request its strength, allowing Bam to break the ball and be transported to the next floor. To retrieve her sword, Yuri goes after him. On the second floor, Bam is greeted by 399 other floor contestants, with the next test being a killing match to whittle the number down to 200. Bam recalls how he was amnesiac and all alone in a dark cave until Rachel came and took care of him, including teaching him about the world and how to be literate. On the second floor, Bam encounters two other contestants, Kun Agro Agnes and Rak Wraith Razor. Both recognize the Black March due to a symbol on its hilt, which interests Kun greatly and makes Rak determined to hunt Bam down to become stronger. Kun forms an alliance with Bam, roping Rak in at the last second when the next test calls for teams of 3 to be formed between participants. On the mothership, test administrator and ranker, someone who has climbed the tower before, Liro Ro challenges them to withstand his water barrier, which is formed using the tower's power known as Shinsu. All but Bam, who remains standing due to his supposed good luck, are pushed back by the Shinsu. As Liro Ro leaves after the test, he warns Bam not to get too close to Kun. The victors are taken to another room for the third test. As the groups filter in, a mysterious blonde figure recognizes Kun. In the new venue, Kun explains to a wonderstruck Bam that the sky here is an imitation created by Shinsu modeled after the legend, which he doubts exists. They meet the director of the test, Han-sung Yu, who challenges them to find the right door out of 12 identical ones within 10 minutes, given only one chance, lest they be forcefully terminated. Although Kun tries to think, he is inadvertently haunted by his past of being betrayed by his half-sister Maria after she was chosen to become one of the elite girls, a princess of Jahad, through his help, thereby exiling the Agro family as well. His mother also warned him since then to never trust anyone and closed his heart off. As Kun panics, Rak pushes open a random door and Han-sung reveals the hidden condition to pass was to open any door within 5 minutes. Liro Ro then administers a bonus test where participation is voluntary, but all who pass it would be automatically granted permission to climb the tower. The test involves 5 rounds where a maximum of 5 teams attempt to steal a crown and remain on the throne for as long as possible, with 2 other members of the team acting as a defense. As the second round begins, Bam feels Black March react strangely as a girl resembling Rachel arrives. As the second round begins, Kun and a man from another team, Loro, deduce that the one sitting on the throne is always at a disadvantage as more and more teams fight for the crown. However, Kun declines to participate just yet as Anak Jahad, a lizard-like girl, currently holds the crown, possessing immense power through her weapon Green April, which is part of a series of ignition weapon swords known as the 13-month series, which includes Black March. This series of swords is so powerful, it is only bestowed upon the princesses of Jahad, including Yuri and Anak, who asks Bam to hand it over. Anak makes a bet with Bam. If his team can win the game, she will give him her sword, but if not, he will give his to hers, and if he refuses to participate, she will kill him and steal the sword after the game. As Loro's team fled back into their waiting room and Anak's trespassed, they are disqualified from the game. Kun pulls a series of tricks using his cloning bag and earns the crown first with Bam on the throne. A mysterious and ruthless team prepares to enter the game, including Rachel, who agrees to kill everyone. Kun makes countless copies of the crown and releases 3 other participants that he had allied with during the second round from his bottomless bag. The next round proceeds with the mysterious team entering the game, proving to be extremely powerful. Bam recognizes Rachel and jumps to protect her when she is attacked by a female masked player, the two getting struck on the head in the process and falling to the floor. As Bam vows to protect her, a strange explosion of Shinsu erupts, making it appear as if Bam had turned into Shinsu itself and willingly attacked the player, something that goes against the unbiased and absolute rules of the tower. The crown game ends without a victor as the crown is melted from the extreme power release and Bam had left the throne during the game. Due to his serious head injury, Bam is admitted to the infirmary. Rachel later pays him a visit, where she meets Kun and begins to ask for a favor. Meanwhile, Liro Ro approaches Hansung questioning his reasons for having him administer this bonus round. Hansung cautions that as administrators, they are present to prevent anyone potentially dangerous from claiming the tower's power, with Bam hinted to be one such dangerous person. 5 days have passed since the crown game. Rachel requests that Kun lie to Bam that she was never here, to prevent both of them becoming each other's burdens, although Kun quickly sees that she doesn't really care about Bam and works to distance the both of them, fulfilling Rachel's request in the process. Anak steals the Black March, but it refuses to listen to her. After Bam reawakens, Kun tells him about how Liro Ro assigned them all positions in their teams to start the 4th test. Fisherman close quarter combat, spear bearer attacking from distance, lighthouse bearer illuminating the tower and information gathering, scout observe the enemy's movement and assist the fisherman, and wave controller support and control the battle with Shinsu. Bam receives the wave controller position, a position that utilizes Shinsu to support team members. In order for Shinsu to be used above limits, contracts must be formed with the floor masters using their pockets. But Bam is warned by the floor bearers that receiving the contract will only shackle him. Everyone works hard in order to pass in their classes. During mealtimes, Bam meets Androsi Jahad, a princess of Jahad in her own right who labels Anak as an imposter. Kun later finds out that even though Anak was supposedly made a princess of Jahad after climbing the tower, she is currently in the midst of passing the tower's tests and records claim her to be deceased. As an enraged Anak and Androsi battle in their class, the current Anak is revealed to be the real princess's daughter whose parents were killed by the other princesses, prompting her to enter the tower for revenge. Jahad is the first man to have ever climbed the tower, become the king of all who lives in it today. Androsi likens the princesses of Jahad to luxurious shoes in a display cabinet. Once they are granted Jahad's power, they are forbidden to do certain things, such as engaging in intercourse and bearing children to prevent the inheritance of Jahad's power. Their fight ends with both Androsi and Anak falling into a pit and ending up seriously injured. In the final placement test, participants all but Rak and Ghost who have already passed are required to play a game of tag in a separate building, while they split into Team A and B respectively, with each team's members required to help their own it steal the badge from the other team's it or reach the goal. Kun's strategy: delay Quant long enough so that Anak, their secret it, can make it out the bridge and pass the test. When Quant reaches the bridge, he finds Kun instead of Anak. Kun lies that Anak jumped off the bridge, but in reality, she is safely floating on lighthouse under the bridge, which Quant figures it out. Quant jumps down the bridge, forcing Kun with him in an attempt to get his lighthouse to fall. But Kun is saved by Anak using the green April as a vine rope. Down the bridge, Quant surprisingly finds Kun and Loro, who offer him a ride up the bridge to steal Anak's badge. It is later revealed Kun betrayed his own team so that his friends, especially Bam on Team B, could pass the test. With Team A losing the game, Team B enters next. Unlike Team A, who established their roles clearly and quickly, Team B fights among themselves over who will be it. Endorsi herself declares she will be it. Serena's backstory is revealed. She was once a burglar, and one night she watched as her friends were killed by a rancor, which led to her becoming a regular. In the present time, Quant catches up Endorsi and her team as she shockingly seems to turn against her team as well. Endorsi reveals that she intends to kill the other two fishermen on Team B to assure she passes the test. Bam runs to Rachel, and he and Quant discover that Ho is holding Rachel hostage at knife point. Ho tells Bam that he will lose motivation to climb the tower if he kills Rachel, as he has uncovered by an anonymous letter, giving him leverage in passing the test. Rachel tries to break free from Ho's hold, and he accidentally stabs her in the back. To Quant's amazement, Bam uses a Shinsu technique that took him hundreds of years to master to paralyze, recovering Rachel, who is now bleeding badly. Ho, realizing he was set up and grieving in how he is once again powerless, remembering how his reason for entering the inner tower was that his entire race was murdered as he watched helplessly, takes the knife and stabs himself through the chest, killing himself. Serena and Endorsi arrive at the scene, and Endorsi uses a weapon taken by one of the fishermen she presumably killed to attack Quant. Along with Bam's help, Endorsi recovers Quant's badge and Team B wins. Ho's corpse and Rachel are taken to emergency care, and the episode ends with Bam at Rachel's bedside. Bam reveals to Kun and Rak that Rachel may never walk again after her injury. Bam invites his peers to a small funeral set up for Ho, and they have a remembrance party for him later that night. Knowing she won't pass the latest test and feeling that her purpose isn't there, Serena leaves the inner tower and gives Shibisu her knife as a parting gift. Test director Hansung Yu runs into Wave controller teacher Yuga holding a secret call, who reveals that his true identity is Lo Pobia Ren, a member of the Royal Enforcement Division. He is on a mission to retrieve the Green April and possibly destroy the false princess, the second Anak Jahad. Yu unexpectedly allows Ren to pursue his mission. The next morning, the participants learn of their overall test results and whether they passed or not. Hansung Yu announces that since she was injured in the last test, Rachel has failed. In an attempt to save her status, Kun asks for permission to take the administrator's test. Yu reminds him that only irregulars have the power to consult with the administrator, in which Bam notifies him that he is one. This revelation surprises many of the participants. Bam is then taken to the administrator in order to speak with him. After consulting with the administrator, Bam succeeds in getting permission to take the administrator's test. If they pass, then Rachel will move on. For the test, Bam and Rachel are placed into an underwater Shinsu ball along with fish and must be captured by net dolphins and eaten by their queen to pass. The remaining participants must stop the net dolphins' enemies, the goblins who control marsh worms and striped ground pigs, from interfering with the net dolphins. They must also watch out for the bull, a mysterious and dangerous creature that eats almost anything that moves. In the caves, Shibisu runs into the bull after receiving a warning from Hats that the two participants who were with him have gone missing. Shibisu is saved by Anak and Endorsi, who arrive just in the nick of time. However, the two start competing and betting against each other to see who will defeat the bull first. The bull, however, runs off and Endorsi and Anak follow, leading them to become separated. Endorsi runs into the bull, which is now stronger, and she left nearly unconscious. Anak, on the other hand, runs into Lo Pobia Ren, who stabs her through the torso. Ren is now controlling the bull, and it brings a captured Endorsi to him, who is ordered by Ren to kill the Anak, the imposter princess. Meanwhile, Hats, Rak, and Paracule are keeping an eye on the goblins. Kun instructs them to wait before moving in, but there are more of them than expected. As one of the goblins prepares to attack Hats, Paracule reflexively skewers it with his spear, prompting the rest of the goblins to attack. After initially running away from the goblins, Rak turns around to attack the goblins, joined by others from the team. Meanwhile, Loro follows Kun's orders and seals several underground tunnels leading the striped ground pigs to the goblins. The two enemies fight each other, allowing Bam and Rachel safe passage. Underground Anok is nearly defeated by Lo Pobia Ren, but Endorsi chooses to fight alongside her. Together they are still not powerful enough to defeat Lo Pobia Ren. But as they fight, Princess Yuri arrives and recognizes her blade she loaned to Bam. Annoyed with the situation, she works with her team to kill Lo Pobia Ren. As he dies, he laughs, admitting that during the fight he sent the bull to kill Bam and Rachel. The bull arrives underwater to kill them and gets several good hits before Bam uses his special Shinsu to defeat the bull. As they rise upward about to complete the test successfully, Rachel stands up and pushes Bam over the edge. Some of Rachel's backstory is revealed. She believed the tower was calling for her, but when she arrived, Head-On tells her that the tower did not call her at all, and that she is too weak to enter. Desperate to become special, she begs for any kind of chance. Head-On holds her immobile, and she watches as Bam arrives and is able to defeat the first test. She is jealous of Bam and wants to be special. Head-On gives her a special test, telling her that she will be allowed to climb if she defeats Bam with her own 2 hands. She demands a special weapon since Bam was given an amazing weapon in front of her, and Head-On gives her a bodyguard that will die in her place once, allowing her to essentially have 2 lives. She makes her way through the tower knowing that she must kill Bam, but unable to bring herself to do it. She becomes more and more jealous, urging him to stay away from her in her mind. She is told that if she waits long enough and follows the signs given, she'll be given a chance to kill him. So she allows herself to be taken by Ho and uses the bodyguard to die and return. She waits until Bam is injured, then pushes him into the Shinsu Lake to kill him. When the others find her alone, they ask where Bam is, and she says the bull came, then passes out. Everyone assumes Bam is defeated and decide that as a favor to him, they will help Rachel reach the top. Rachel, resting in her room after the trial, laughs wildly, then covers her face, conflicted over what she's done, but still determined to reach the top. After everyone leaves for the next level, Bam wakes up in a deep cavern, badly hurt. He remembers Rachel pushing him. He decides he needs to climb to tower in order to find his own answers.